Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut. Welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. I hope you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. As you watch this video, you're probably Googling and searching. I am very reluctant to do this video because I don't normally talk about the players' wives or their families. But this sort of has popped up and people are talking about it. I had to think about it, think about what to say here. Trying to be, very careful and delicate. I don't make it seem like I'm being mean, but you know me, I have to say it like it is. Now, New York Mets have been have had these sort of hot streaks and these cold streaks over the last 6-7 years as a team. This goes over 2 ownership groups. This goes over several general managers and at least 3 or 4 managers. So this is sort of the backdrop of this whole situation that has popped up with Francisco Lindor's wife. All right. So just keep this in mind. And I believe that this is not nearly as big of a deal in terms of what's happened here with this Mets team. But I know the nature of this beast. And this is a very destructive beast in this philosophy. Extremely, extremely destructive to everybody around it. So if there were problems in that clubhouse, that's what happened. There was no reason for this team not to be, getting along and be taken apart by politics. Now, Mike Francesa said a couple weeks ago that Francisco Lindor and Brandon Nimmo were at odds because of their politics, are total polar opposites. Let's get something straight right off the bat. Francisco Lindor, when he got here, when he was traded to the Mets, it was well known that he was a quote-unquote SJW. Now, just read some of the things about his wife. She's a communist. Straightforward commie. And this, I guess, and just looking at it, she's a bit of an attention hog. So she thinks that she has no talent in anything. I guess she was online. It's a very bizarre story. And just reading this New York Post article, you found out that they met. Lindor went into one of her DMs online. I don't know, I think on Instagram or something. And that's how they started talking, which is bizarre that a baseball player can't meet anybody in the real world. They got to meet him online. That's strange. And boy, she hooked into him very quickly. Once he signed that massive contract, let's get married. But let me read you from the Fox News. This is an overview. Mets star's wife named to New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani's inaugural committee. Katia Lindor was listed as a member of Mamdani's committee. Now, I have a question. How do you get on that thing? How do you get on that committee? She's got no talent. And I will say she's not a good violinist. I'll say it right off the bat. I don't know much about the violin, but when you're doing the Star Spangled Banner, you know that beginning. And when she played that back in, I guess in September or August or whatever it was, the beginning did not sound like that. It was a mess. Eventually, you could hear it. But if you can't hear that beginning. The wife of New York Mets star shortstop Francisco Lindor, Katia Lindor, was listed on New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani's list of inaugural committee members. Now, first, on the surface, what's troubling is communist or anti-Christian. Okay? So that's a problem, obviously. New York City is going to become anti-Christian very, very quickly, to where people are not going to be able to pray, or you have to be very careful in churches. They don't get bombed and stuff like that. And I'm not joking, because these communists don't like that shit. Excuse me. I mean, they don't like it, because it's the opposite. Mrs. Lindor was listed as the host of the Unapparent podcast on the list of members released by Mamdani earlier this week. Rogero Lindor took to social media to support Mamdani during November's election. Quote, now this is all communist, gobbledygook, communist, Marxist, preachy handbook. Every communist writes this shit. There's nothing different about what she wrote here. Supporting politicians who fight for immigrants, artists, workers, of course, gotta have that in there, and everyone who deserves a dignified life isn't against my interests. Even if I'm in a different economic position, she's got to tell you how much money she's making, how much she's not making anything. He's making all that money. And I do have a question. How much money does Lindor spend? Because we see how much money he spends on the cleats, on the gloves. That's a lot of money, a lot of waste. My well-being is tied to the well-being of others. No, it's not. When humanity thrives, we all do. Choosing kindness, equity, and solidarity isn't radical. It's what keeps us human. It's all communist gobbledygook. Reguero Lindor captioned the post she reshared, whatever. Quote, your enemies aren't the immigrants. They're the 1%ers hoarding the wealth while leaving you without basic needs. Nobody's without basic needs in this country. Nobody. Mamdani said he's excited to share this moment with the members of his committee. Our city's artists, thinkers, organizers, and activists have shaped what New York looks, sounds, and feels like. This is a celebration of the movement that made the victory possible and the beginning of a new dawn for our city. I could not be more excited to share this moment with these committee members and with New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs. Yeah, get this, these award-winning people. Other celebrities such as actor and filmmaker John Turturro, I will mention he did a good Billy Martin many years ago. Actress and activist Cynthia Nixon, who's washed up, and actor and author Cal Penn, I have no idea who that is, also on the committee. Fox News Digital reached out to Major League Baseball and the Mets, but did not immediately get a response. But again, she didn't write any of this stuff. She's a puppet, okay? And these puppets, these globalist, communist puppets, are destructive, okay? Now, if he is so into this SJW stuff, this must be very destructive in the Mets clubhouse. 4 years ago in 2021, we know that there was a problem politically in that clubhouse. And a lot of guys got in the boot, And I also believe that Jacob deGrom left because of politics in that clubhouse, in my opinion. Plus, I think he was concerned about the safety of his family in New York City. So there is a lot of concern here from your host, because once these SJWs get into your spaces, okay, they're very difficult to get them out of here. And I know that Mrs. Cohen is very close with the Lindor family, and she's very political. So this is very concerning, and it's not so much. I know that there are accounts online saying that all the white players got off the team. That's not what happened here. That's a separate issue from this whole thing now with Lindor's wife. Okay, let's look at it this way. Lindor's wife is an attention hog. She wants all this notoriety. She wants people to notice her because she's got no talent. She plays the violin not very well. She has a husband that makes a lot of money. She, attached herself to him, and he's constantly buying stuff, constantly doing all kinds of stuff. Now we know that he's willing to fight with his teammates on the field and embarrass them, show them up. We've seen that. Jeff McNeil did not refute what happened during the summer when he got traded. Okay, so to me this is very concerning because I've seen this in other spaces. I've seen this in the comic book industry, and I've seen this in the gaming industry. I don't know that much about the game, but the comic book industry, I know. Once these SJWs get into your spaces, they destroy it. Because their attitudes, they don't give a fuck. They will destroy everything that's in their way. Because by nature, communism is destructive. It destroys people's lives, destroys, neighborhoods. It's terrible. And I know this whole situation from my own experience talking about comics for many years. Okay? And I know how destructive these people are. And they always hide behind women. They always hide behind women of color. They do this all the time. And she is a spear. And she along with him, destroyed everything the Mets have been trying to build for the last 4 or 5 years. Along with bad decisions along the way, And and players just not being good enough as a group. But I'm very concerned. This is a very concerning thing, and I would suggest the New York Mets trade him. Okay, because we've seen the best of him, in my opinion. Steroids are not in the game anymore. They don't have speed in the game anymore. No amphetamines. So his ability to be a great player is now on the declining side. Okay, we know he had a back issue in 2024. Okay, he is very streaky, as we know. The Mets should seriously think about getting him out of here and getting his wife out of here, because this is a problem. This is a major problem. Remember a few years ago, it doesn't matter, it's a long time ago. I'm not going to talk about that. But anyway, I'm reluctant, like I said, to start this video, but I call it like I see it. This is a very destructive force that's in the middle of that Met clubhouse now. Very concerning. And we know that this happened in 21. This was before Lindor really got into this clubhouse. Marcus Stroman was in that clubhouse. We had bad actors like Javi Baez in that clubhouse, Kevin Pillar. I mean, really, guys that really caused a lot of trouble, and a few other guys that were basically with the thumbs down. They look down upon the people. They really do. And all of this is a scam. We've learned this in the last, year. All these people, it's all about a scam. This is all a scam. This committee is a scam. She must be making money on the side for this. I can guarantee you that. All this is a scam. Every little bit of this. And it's unfortunate. They look like a wonderful family, but I'm sorry. She is a parasite. To be honest with you. Now, people are going to come on, how could you say that? You're I don't give a shit. Care what anybody says. I'm a Met fan. I call it like I see it. And I'm not attached to any corporation. So, you let me know what you think about this video. And please subscribe to the Baseball Hut 2. I do a lot of the rough stuff. I get my hands dirty on this channel. I don't do this on my big channel, because I don't want to lose people here. If I lose a couple people, that's fine. But of course, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.